Well, hello, LinkedIn. Welcome to the Voice Summit, where the voice tech industry meets. My name is Ian Utile. I'm the CEO at Attention Live, and my friend Pete Erickson has asked me to come and help do some interviews and co-produce some of the stuff that's happening here today. And so I wanted to welcome all of you to the party. Welcome to the party. So what's going to happen right now is I'm going to bring up my new friend, Raghu, and we're going to have a conversation about his company and the things that him and his team have been developing. And you'll see more of this throughout the day. So we have a bit of an audience here. We have a couple other rooms with main stage and panels going on and sponsor booths. And it's beautiful here at the Renaissance Hotel in Arlington, Virginia, right in the heart of the DC area. So this is my only real intro. All the other videos, we'll just be jumping right into it. But for a moment, I just want to acknowledge that you're there. Oftentimes, I won't be looking at you. You're just kind of coming into this conversation that I get to have with these tech leaders in the voice industry. So without having you wait any further, let's get right to it. Why don't you come on up, take a seat, let's have a conversation.
Hey, thank you very much for inviting me, and
happy to have
super excited to be here, and great energy all around.
Yes.
And meeting a lot of people around voice tech is absolutely amazing.
Yes, this has always been a great event. I've always really enjoyed meeting new friends like yourself, and of course seeing people that I've been able to have as strategic partners and clients and the folks that we've worked with. So maybe you could give a little background on yellow.ai. How did things get started?
Yeah, so pretty interesting story how we got started. I basically come from a semiconductor EDA background, but this specific incident where I was trying to get my telecom service repaired, and I had to make about 5 different calls, explain about the issue, starting from the beginning, all the 5 times. And we were actually at the same time coordinating a breakfast with our friends, and we were coordinating on a WhatsApp. That was amazing. And really the discussion around the breakfast table was about why can't the experience talking to brands, getting customer support, be as seamless as we were talking to our friends on WhatsApp, right? Clearly there was a large opportunity that we saw where we can build a platform that can enable brands to deliver phenomenal customer experience using automation and AI. And that was the genesis of building the company.
So what was the big problem that you thought you could solve?
The number one problem is elevating customer experience. So customer experience is absolutely broken for a lot of companies.
Yeah.
Some of the stats out there are quite startling. When we dig deeper, there's about $1 trillion plus of spend that companies spend every year on customer support. And can you imagine what percentage of end consumers are happy with the customer support?
Right.
It's 3%.
3%.
For $1 trillion spent. So that's a phenomenal opportunity out there. And brands are really violating the trust of consumers because they're not able to respond to them in real time. They are not able to remember their preferences. And what percentage of end consumers are happy with the customer AI was rightly positioned to address that problem. So as a company, we built with the sole focus of elevating customer experience across support, marketing, commerce, using AI and automation.
So using AI and automation, you're elevating and addressing some of the huge issues around customer experience, which there's a 3% satisfaction rate today.
Yeah.
As you've been building this out and addressing this issue, what are some things that you've learned along the way?
Yeah. A few things that we learned along the way. The first one is there's a perception that human-based support is superior and automation is primarily to reduce cost. But what we have clearly seen, so surprisingly, across all our deployments, we have about 1,000 plus customers right now with over
Congratulations.
1 million interactions every single quarter. What we have seen is both humans and automation have their specific pros, specific advantages. Whereas humans have higher empathy towards end customers.
Right.
Where humans lack is assimilating a lot of data in real time.
Yeah.
A customer's data is spread across multiple systems, and software can go and look across all these systems, assimilate this data, and provide a response in few seconds that takes humans 10 minutes or few hours or few days, right?
Right.
So a combination of automation and humans delivering customer experience. We have seen the CSAT rates, NPS rates of customer support and customer experience increase by 20 to 30%. So that was a starting revelation. The second is about dynamic AI agents.
Yeah.
A lot of automation has been solely focused on a single channel. We are going to automate on a chat, we are going to automate on voice, or they have been focused on whether we are going to solve inbound customer support problems. We are going to automate all the support problems when customer calls us. And they have been solely focused on a single language. But global corporations right now are dynamic.
Yeah.
They are spread across multiple countries. They interact with their customers in multiple languages. Customer support is not just reactive. When a company has a higher bill for the end customer, they need to proactively inform the customer. So
Right.
it's not just being reactive, but customer experience need to be proactive as well.
Yeah.
So our key learning is that the customer experience has to be dynamic and adapt to that specific context, specific persona of the end customers. So these are driving our platform development as we are building the company.
So with 1,000 customers, and you're a global company, from what I understand, you really had a ton of success in Asia, and now you're coming into the US market. And so maybe talk a bit about that transition to more of a global company, coming into this market in North America, kind of where those things are at, how that maybe happened. Like, give a little insight in terms of that trajectory and that experience.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question and an interesting trajectory we had for the company. If you see the global adoption of messaging for end consumers, Asia leads the market. The largest population or end users adopting WhatsApp, Line Messenger, WeChat, and Asia has been forefront of messaging adoption, and they leapfrogged a lot of digital technologies like mobile apps and directly went into messaging. And building our company in Asia, we were building to an absolute need. Because in Asia, the only way for enterprises to digitally reach customers is through messaging applications.
Right.
For a lot of users out there, the first experience on a smartphone or on internet is on a WhatsApp or a Line. They haven't used, a majority of them haven't used mobile apps or websites in their life, right?
Yeah.
So a product that is built, one, for scale, that's where a lot of users are around. Second, it's built for diversity. You have a lot of people using in a lot of languages. Third, the conversation interfaces are not just supplemental digital properties for companies, but they need to enable end-to-end transactions because the users are completely on these conversational apps. So that helped us build a platform that is deep, that is diverse, and that is most importantly dynamic.
Yeah.
And then we started working with multinational global US customers such as Sephora, Schlumberger, Waste Connections, Procter & Gamble. And what these companies and we realized is that the problems are similar across the world.
Yeah.
And a platform that's been built for scale, that is dynamic, is addressing the needs of the North America customers more than any other platform or company that is addressing those needs. And that's helped us build phenomenal traction in the North America market with some of the marquee Fortune 500 companies as customers here and scaling very rapidly, adopting the platform.
Again, congratulations. I mean, I think, you know, building a company like you have, it's a death march to a life camp. It's very, very difficult to create something as you've done. But you haven't just created a company or built a great team or got a lot of clients or gone from one geography to another. I feel like you are articulate in some of the ways that you've described things differently. One thing I wrote down that stood out to me, well, you talked about converting moments of truth into moments of trust. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, it absolutely goes back to my starting story, why we started the company. The interaction with the brand while getting my problem fixed. That's actually a moment of truth for companies where a customer need intersects with an interaction with the brand. And any bad experience there is actually breaking the consumer trust in the company, right? And the sole motive was that by improving these experiences, can technology help brands convert each of these moments of truth where they interact with the consumer while they are shopping, while they are asking for customer support, while they are marketing? Can these be opportunities of building trust and building a long-term relationship with the end customer? Right? And we felt that that has 4 components to it. The first component is addressing the problem in real time. You're not looking to raise a ticket and getting back to them in 3 days, right? So if you respond to them immediately, that's when you're building trust. Second is end-to-end fulfillment. You're not just responding, but helping them solve the problem. Somebody is asking for a ticket reschedule. The company should resolve them in the next few minutes rather than raising a ticket and resolving later. Third, embracing diversity. The consumers can come talk in different languages. They can talk through different platforms. They can call while they're at home. They can message while they're at office. The customer should have a seamless communication across channels with the end brand. And these are the key pillars around which the moments of trust are built with the end consumer. And that's why we as a company are looking to kind of work towards helping brands enable them to build these key moments of trust across the customer journey from commerce, support, and marketing.
I like that. Thanks for unpacking that for me. You also talked about the myth of the superhuman agent. And what I understood is people have this concept that you are comparing the very best customer service human with the very best automated option. And so can you just kind of talk a bit about that concept, that this myth around the superhuman agent?
Absolutely. I think there's a really big myth that the best of human agents provide the best of customer experience. What we have clearly seen is that both humans and automation have their specific advantages that they bring to the table. One is the best of human agents can't remember all of the customer data in their brain, and there is a lot of churn in customer service departments as well. Whereas automation is super helpful in providing responses really fast and solving transactional queries. So somebody's asking for an airline flight reschedule. Automation can go to the systems, the billing systems, the inventory systems, and get the airline reschedule done in maybe 2 minutes. A human needs to actually understand, and we have always gone through what's your name, what's your number, there's multiple iterations. They then go to the system, enter all the details, and then get the transaction done. So clearly in cases where the interactions are about getting transactions done, automation supersedes the best of human agents available. But at the same time, the same customer is asking the airline about COVID protocols, right? Hey, I'm really concerned about my travel. In those cases, automation is not the best answer in providing the empathy. I need to really empathize about their situation and make sure that they're assured that all the safety measures of the COVID protocol are taken care. So the myth about a superhuman agent is kind of really busted, and what we are clearly seeing is a combination of automation and humans are the best at providing the phenomenal customer
And you
experience.
call this a dynamic AI agent.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is kind of what I understood. So you say there's the myth of the superhuman agent, and one of the problems is you have human agents, even the very, very best, the top 1%, against the very best automation. And people are comparing these two things and saying either or. What you're saying is, with the technology that your team's created, that any human agent, ideally a great one, can leverage AI, and this is who you call a dynamic AI agent. So how is this different from what's out there today?
The technology automatically determines at each moment of truth or interaction whether this interaction is best served by automation,
Can
an AI
leverage
agent, or it is best served by human, and seamlessly transfers the context across the AI and across the human. Not only that, it also determines whether for this context, whether I need to be proactive or the conversation needs to be reactive. And it also determines whether this consumer, I'll give a nice example. There is a beverage brand that helped consumers kind of build cocktails. And they realized that from the northern part of the country, they prefer sweeter cocktails versus southern part of the country, they prefer spicier cocktails.
Right.
How does it dynamically alter or adapt the conversations based on the end user? So AI plus human, getting transactions done and adapting to the human persona of end consumer. These are all really, that technology is dynamic AI agents, which is completely different from what's out there in the market.
So how about the process of a dynamic AI agent learning? So, it's one thing for you to get a great agent. It's another thing for you to automate what they're capable of doing with AI and create this new dynamic of how they can serve customers and increase the 3% to 4% to 44%, obviously trying to impact the end result. How about the ability for them to learn, become better? What's the process for that?
Fantastic. That's a great question. And here also I would like to bust a myth. A lot of learning, AI agent learning is focused on learning the natural language processing or understanding the conversations. But what we have seen is the spectrum is much larger. Of course, one part of the learning is there could be prior historical conversations from which the machine can understand what the user is conversing better. But there's also learning about the personality of the end user. So somebody buying a trouser with certain specific color and with certain specific demographics, the algorithm can learn about their most likely matching shirt, right? And recommend that as a part of the conversation. So learning about the human preferences. Third, learning about the human sentiment. What happens with a certain specific conversation or a certain specific action. Not only from the conversation, but the conversation is linked to the website, the link to the other digital properties. So you're getting the holistic learning of the end consumer and their requests. So the key for dynamic agents is learning about the language, learning about the person's preferences, and learning about the demographics so that they are providing the most personalized experience for the end consumer.
Maybe as we come close to a wrap, you could talk a bit about some case studies. You mentioned 1,000 customers, a bunch of Fortune 500 customers. And so what are some examples of these things in motion, not just big ideas or things that you're working on generally, but specifics? What's some examples that you could kind of share with us?
I think this is my favorite topic, and all these, this is our moment of truth per se, right? So I'll take 2-3 examples. One that I would like to talk about is Domino's. Domino's first signed up for us to automate their entire customer support. They were having almost about 60% of their overall interactions with end customers focused on customer support, whereas they wanted a lot of human interaction happen for sales. And they adopted dynamic AI agents to first start automating these interactions on the website, and they've seen phenomenal success. As much as that, they've now extended that automation on telephony and on large messaging platforms like WhatsApp. And they have seen almost an efficiency increase of the customer support agents by 60%. So they're able to support 60% more end consumer queries with a similar set of human agents available. And not only that, what's startling is that the experience that the end consumers are having improved. The CSAT scores improved tremendously.
Yeah.
The second example that I would like to take is Sephora.
The jewelry company, Sephora?
Yeah, Sephora, yes. Absolutely. And you know the Sephora's experience, right? People want to feel the products.
Yep.
But when COVID struck, they had to replicate the same experience online as well, right? Because people are not coming to their stores.
Yes.
So what they did is they enabled a messaging channel through which the end consumers can interact with Sephora, and the dynamic AI agent powers that interaction and learns about their preferences. My skin tone is X, I prefer this particular, and surfaces the right products based on that requirement.
Yes.
And what also happens in human stores is that when you're selecting your product, you always feels good when an expert comes in, a beauty expert comes in and tells you that, hey, you know what, I think for your skin tone, etc., this is my recommendation.
Yeah.
So this dynamic AI agent automatically pulls in the beauty assistants into these conversations at the right time to provide the end users the best of the human empathy, that they can understand their requirements, and the best of automation where the products are surfaced with the richest content. And they have seen their sales kind of move up even with the challenges of the pandemic. And now this has become a permanent digital property that they can build relationship with customers, not just in the stores, but make that relationship more continuous through the online mechanisms as well. So that's quite impactful.
Well, I learned a lot. Thanks for coming and sharing with us. I hope that the folks here that are listening to us also enjoyed the conversation as I did. Let's wrap up with where can people learn more? So obviously yellow.ai, they can go there, but anything else you want to kind of direct people towards if they want to investigate more about what you're doing?
Yeah, so we have we eat our own dog food. So there is a beautiful AI agent called Mia. You can find that on our website. There's a voice telephony that people can call a number and interact with Mia. And Mia, as an AI agent, can help provide all the information that anyone wants to know about the company. And that's a way of experiencing what a true AI agent, dynamic AI agent actually means, right? So I would really recommend everyone to check out Mia to know more about the company.
All right. Well, for those on LinkedIn, glad you could join us. If you see the archive of this, congratulations on finding this amazing conversation I just got to have. And thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoy the conference, and I'm glad that we got to open up with this conversation.
Thank you very much. Absolutely thoroughly enjoyed this and looking forward to the further session.
Okay, we are as well. Goodbye, everybody. I'll be back soon.